What do you do when you're doing everything right, but not seeing the results that you want? That's the situation I'm in currently. I've been experiencing a pretty brutal sales drought since the February 6th, as you can see here by the graph, and I can't really explain it. I've changed nothing. I've listed every day in 2026. My seller metrics are excellent. I'm responding to offers messages quickly. I'm sending reasonable offers. I didn't change my promoted, nothing. I can't help but feel a little bit frustrated with eBay. However, I'm not going to just feel sorry for myself. So this is how I'm dealing with this unexpected drop. First of all, I'm taking a day off. I'm not going to check eBay for any reason other than list for my draft bank, respond to questions, and accept or send counter offers. I need a day away from eBay so I can kind of reset. I'm going to refresh 10 or 15 older inventory items that are a little bit stale. I'm going to work on the title, change a couple things around. I'm going to change the listing details and make sure they're accurate, make sure I'm adding as many as I possibly can. And I might even take new photos, depending. This should promote views to those listings. You get the bump of having new listings go up for 24 hours. Those items should land a bit higher in front of buyers' eyes when they're searching on eBay, and it might drive some traffic to my other listings. Next, I'm going to look into my current listing inventory and list 10 really good items from it. This year, I'm listing every day, and I've averaged 5.5 items per day, which is a little bit lower than I'd like it to be, but finding items during the winter is a little bit difficult with the weather and snowy roads and whatnot. But I think listing 10, which is, 4.5 items more than my average for the course of this year so far, should help my items a little bit. It should boost my store a little bit. It's possible that it'll stimulate sales, which would be really nice, especially if I list them to move quickly. And lastly, I'm planning to source a lot Tuesday through Friday. I want to make sure I have plenty of inventory for the next 2 weeks, just in case we do get some bad weather. I'm going to get up early and go shop, start shopping and looking around, and stay out a little bit later than I normally do. And normally I'm sourcing 2 or 3 times a week. I'm hoping Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, adding an extra day and being out 2 or 3 hours longer per, of those days will help me find some good items to put into my store. And all of those things should generate a positive outcome. If I don't see a positive outcome, I might resort to running a sale on the stalest items in my store, sending out slightly larger offers. Like tonight, I started sending out 15 or 20% offers instead of 15 on items that were a little bit older, and just little teeny tweaks here and there to try to stimulate the buyers, to stimulate the views and buyers. This is my week, which is just abysmal. Making $90 in a week is just, I honestly, I didn't think that this was actually possible, but it is something that can happen. So some of the issues that I do blame eBay in some sense. I feel like I'm getting less quality traffic to listings, and that's why they're not selling, but I have no proof of that, and it's just conjecture. Nobody really knows. One of the things I'm realizing is that some of the items that I've been listing have been a little bit more on the mediocre side with lower sell-through rates. So I'm going to really focus on sell-through rates in the next couple of weeks. I've been listing a lot of vintage, which is hit or miss, especially t-shirts and sweatshirts. You might sit on a vintage t-shirt for 6 months and then the person pays full price for it. And you're wondering, where was this person 5 months ago buying it within the first month I listed it? I'm going to make sure my photos look good. I'm going to make sure that everything is to the standard that I've set over 5,000 sold items over 5 years. And because I'm trying to double my sales this year, this is a little bit of a punch to the gut because of me trying to double my sales and double the size of my store. But I'm going to, instead of what I normally do, which would have been a perfect time to take 3 or 4 weeks off and say, you know what, screw eBay, I'm not messing with it. I'll just send out my offers and ship my stuff, and I'm not listing anything new. And that's what normal Nick would do. Normal Nick last year would have just taken 2 or 3 or 4 weeks off, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to lean into the pain, and it might last a few more days. Maybe depending on when this ends, I'll do another video, kind of an update, to see if this was just a fluke or if something's actually wrong. One thing I will say is that I always blame this as the anomaly. Like, this is an anomaly for me. In my mind, I'm thinking this section from February 6th to today, February 14th, happy Valentine's Day, by the way. And while we're at it, subscribe and like and comment, please. It helps me a bunch. I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm thinking that this is the anomaly when it's possible January 15th and especially January 30th through the 5th, maybe this was the anomaly. Maybe I was overperforming these days. I mean, I thought it was just being rewarded for listing all these days in a row and being very consistent. Maybe this was the anomaly. Maybe this section of these days were above what I should have been doing. If I look at the average from the 30th to the 14th, so the last 2 weeks, my average isn't that much lower than the sales the previous 14 weeks or even the sales last year. So I'm looking at this as this is a big problem, but I might be looking at it from the wrong angle. And hopefully that makes sense to you. I'm paying for this great section with a really bad section. Things to keep in mind also is that February is a little bit slower. People, taxes are coming up. Money might be tight still. There's a lot of variables that we can't control as resellers that might be at least part of the problem. So, to wrap this all up, this is not ideal, but I'm going to brute force my way through it. And most of the time that I've seen downswings, they've been followed by pretty reasonable upswings. So I'm excited for spring. And if this might last through February, we don't know. But with tax money coming in April and people getting returns back, maybe some more paychecks are coming in, who knows? But there's going to be some money coming into eBay. And as long as I'm holding firm and still listing every single day, I think this should turn around for me. So this is my frustration. I'm sharing it with you, and hopefully you can learn something from the way I'm dealing with this frustration, and help you in your own business to not get frustrated or not let yourself get too frustrated to where you work less. I've found times where I'm like, this will show eBay, I won't list for 2 weeks. And it's like, you're only hurting yourself. It's not, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I know that it doesn't, but in the moment I do it anyways. So we're avoiding that situation. We're going to keep listing and we're going to push through this. So I appreciate you watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you want. That'd be really cool. And we will see you in the next video, hopefully with better news and better graphs.